Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of Novel Knits. My name is Danelle, and this is my YouTube channel where I talk about knitting and hand dyeing yarn. I'm coming to you from southeastern Wisconsin, where I live with my husband, my 2 kids, my dog Penelope, and now we have 2 fish as well. 2 betta fish entered our lives a couple days ago. Their names are Ang and King Carl, and we're on constant are they dead, are they alive watch here. So I think it's gonna be fine. It's cold in Wisconsin, so I think everybody's just concerned that they're gonna freeze to death, because we did have a fish that died during the polar vortex we had a few years ago. So everyone's really stressed out about these fish, but it should calm down soon. Let's see. So I did mention that I usually talk about hand dyeing yarn, and I shouldn't say usually because this is only my 3rd episode, but I'm going to also say that I really haven't, and today there will not be any talk about hand dyeing yarn either because I haven't been doing it. I was really obsessed with holiday knitting and I just didn't make time for it, and that's going to be ramping up in the next few weeks. So I should have some stories to share and some yarn experiments to show in a couple of weeks. So stay tuned if you're here for the yarn dyeing. It will be happening. So it is 2021. Happy New Year. We made it. If you're watching this, congratulations. 2020 was so awful, and I don't have any misconceptions that 2021 is going to be amazing, but at least maybe it won't be the gut punch that 2020 was. Everything, we're kind of getting into the groove. We're getting used to masks and social distancing and life not being normal, and hopefully we can all just kind of keep chugging along and make it another year, so without any serious complications. So our family has not had the virus yet, so we're hoping that we stay that way until we get vaccinated, but who knows how long that will be. And Wisconsin is just not willing to shut down. So all I keep hearing around the country and in other countries is how they're doing shutdowns, lockdowns, trying to do things, and my kids are going back to school in a few weeks. So our numbers their burden rate for our area is going down. It's still a lot higher than I would like for them going back to school, but I think that our school board was really bullied into this decision, and it is what it is. It'll be hard. It'll be another hard adjustment for them. My daughter's only been in school for 4 days since last March, and my son has been in for he I think got 2.5 weeks. So every time they go back and they pull him out, it's just we go through more adjustments, and it's hard, and it's not great at being home all the time. We're all home all the time, and we all have different work styles, and it's not easy, but I'm not sure how I feel about them going back to school. I'm a little nervous about it too, but we'll be okay. But let's jump into the vital few for today. And I'm going to just talk really quickly about some of my goals for 2021, because everybody sets goals at the beginning of the year, right? And I'm giving myself grace for not reaching any goals that I set for 2020 because it was sort of an extraordinary year. I don't think I coped especially well. I got a lot of knitting done. I didn't do much else. It was a rough year, and I'm looking forward to setting some goals and hopefully maybe reaching some in the next year. We'll see what happens. It's always kind of a crapshoot, right? So, but I wanted to talk about some of my goals, especially for knitting. So I am committing to a no-buy year. So that means for the whole entirety of 2021, I will not buy any yarn, any project bags, any patterns, anything. And I am doing this as with Sam from Hand Me My Knitting. She's kind of organizing this no-buy year, and she's got a Patreon subscription for that, which is really fun. And one of the things that we did for the no-buy year is before January 1st, I went into my sock yarn stash and I pulled out 12 skeins of yarn that I want to knit this year. And I put them in a paper bag, and then I sealed them and like a brown lunch bag. I seal them and put them in a trunk. And at the beginning of every month, I will pick out one of those skeins of yarn and I will make a pair of socks from that this year. So that should keep my sock knitting fresh. The only reason I would buy any yarn this year would be if I'm working on a project and I get to the end and I run out of yarn. Obviously, I'm not going to sacrifice a project by substituting yarn that would ruin it. So that is the only caveat that I have, but I don't think that'll happen. I think I'm set. So, but if it does happen, that would be the only reason I could buy any extra yarn. I have plenty of knitting patterns. I have enough. If I get bored for some reason of knitting, I can try crochet. I have crochet hooks. I can try macrame. I have a macrame kit that I haven't done. I can try paint by numbers. I have 2 of those that I haven't done. I can try cross stitching. Never done it, but I've got a kit for it. So I can keep myself busy without buying anything new this year. So that is my commitment to 2020 is no yarn buying. I will miss my lovely packages coming in the mail because they bring me so much joy, but honestly, I need this. I need a break. And everybody's coming out with these Bridgerton colorways now. I don't know if you've watched that Netflix show, but if you haven't, it's pretty good. And I'm kind of glad that I'm not just collecting those because I would just love them, and I might never knit with them because they're not really my colors, but I love it anyway. So no buying. That's my first goal. Second goal is for knitting. This past year I knit, I think I completed 37 projects in Ravelry. I'm making a goal of somewhere around 35. That's kind of my goal for every year. And this year I would like to knit at the minimum 18 pairs of socks. And here's why I think I can do it. I'm going to be doing the no buy sock every month. So that's 12 pairs if I can keep up with that. Then I have at least 5 pairs started. So if I commit to 1 new pair and finishing up a pair, that'll easily bring me to very close to my goal. And I have these 3 yarn or sock snakes, I think, when they crank them in a tube for you, that I sent this yarn out a few years ago to carry the Freckled Whimsy, I think. Yeah, yes, I want to make sure that I'm right. And I don't know if she's still doing this service, but she was cranking sock yarn. So I've got this great one. This is a yarn jar, a Nomadic Yarns. This is the Coral colorway. It's self-striping. That'd be great for my husband or my dad. And then this one that don't remember, the Woolen Homestead, I think. I don't think they're dyeing anymore, but this is a great color. It's called Flannel and Bonfires, and I really like that one too. So I have more than enough that I should easily be able to reach that goal. And I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to start and complete 18 pairs. I'm just going to complete 18 pairs. I also want to complete 6 to 10 and the high-end sweaters this year. I have so many skeins of sweater yarn and quantities of the same yarn, and I have so many that I want to make, and I didn't make a single sweater last year. So I really, really would like to make a good amount of sweaters this year that fit me. I'm going to be thoughtful. I'm going to gauge swatch. I'm going to try them on to make sure that the fit is right, that my sleeves aren't coming up like this all the time. And make things that I want in my wardrobe. So I think that's a really good plan. And then I want to make 4 shawls at least. I definitely want to make a Stephen West shawl this year. I want to make a Find Your Fade, and I know that I'm like 4 years behind that trend, but I've never made one and I really would like to. And I also want to try a brioche project, and I've never done brioche, so I think that would be a fun thing to branch into, because I skip over patterns if there's brioche because I've never done it. So I think just starting with something simple would be really great. For reading this year, I would like to read 40 books. That is a lower goal for me. I want to be more thoughtful about the books that I'm consuming, so I'm not just trying to keep up with trends or read what other people are reading. I want to read what I want to read and get back into reading for enjoyment. And then health-wise, I want to get moving again. I used to go to the bar studio before the pandemic, and I would like to get back there. And I'd like to start walking and running more outside. Obviously in Wisconsin in the winter that's difficult to do, but I'd like to do that more as the seasons change. So I think that's it for the vital few. I'll just really quick, this is not a new finished object, so I'll show this off really quickly. I am wearing my Tecumseh sweater by Caitlin Hunter of Boyland Knitworks today. This is made out of, it was a kit from Barrett Wool Company, which is Susan B. Anderson's yarn company, and I really love this. It is my most worn and most adored sweater. This one, it's really pretty. It's like a swancho style. So like my armpits are way up here, and I didn't know if that would bother me, and it really doesn't. It was my first time doing a colorwork sweater, which was really great on a heavier weight, so it wasn't fingering. I learned a lot, and I love it. I just washed it recently, so it feels really great again. And this is a great sweater. I would highly recommend it for like a first-time colorwork project. It's so oversized that it's hard to screw up, and you can really just see, you know, what you're supposed to do with the yoke. And I had so much yarn left over from this kit that I was actually able to make a full-size shawl as well. Maybe I'll show that sometime too. But this is great yarn. I love it. It's woolly, but it's soft, and it's fantastic. And it's local to me, which I really like. Okay. Finished objects. I have a few this week. I really have a lot. I have a few that I can't show because they were gifted over the holidays. I kept making little ornaments. I made a couple more hats. I made a couple more stockings. I made, there was something else. Oh, sweaters. Sweaters were really fun, little miniature sweaters. So I made a couple more of those. They're on my Instagram if you're interested. And I should jump in and say that if you want to find me anywhere, I always have information down below this video that says where you can find me and also what I talk about, because I know sometimes I misspeak. I don't say the right thing, and or I mumble or something, or I miss words. So if you ever can't understand me or I don't say the right thing, just check the notes below, because those will always be correct. And that'll tell you what yarn I talked about, what patterns, and all that good stuff. So, but anyway, I gifted those. You can check my Ravelry, or not my Ravelry too, but Instagram if you're interested, and I'm Novel Knit Girl on Ravelry and Instagram. Wow, I was really disjointed in talking about that. Sorry about that. And then I finished my dad's socks and I gifted them to him, and he said that they fit and he likes them, but I forgot to take a picture and I haven't seen him wear them yet. So we're gonna monitor that and see if he really does like them, because I told him I can adjust them if they're too short or too long. So we'll see what he says. But I have 4 other finished objects that I can show you, so I'll jump into those. I was able to finish for Christmas a gift for each of my children. So I finished the Sockhead slouch for my son, and this is, the pattern is by McClure, and this is the Patons Kroy blue striped rag color yarn, and it turned out really great. I made the child size. I love the crown. I made the child size, which is great for him. He has not worn it since I made it for him. And I kind of asked him, he's like, well, Mom, it's so cold outside and it's not a really warm hat. And I said, okay, I think that is true. This is, you know, just sock yarn, so it's not really thick, and he's been playing in the snow a lot. But I'm really happy with this, really pleased with it. He loves it. He picked out the yarn, and I think he's happy with it. So I'll let you know if he wears that too, because you know what? If people don't wear what I make them, I don't keep making stuff. He will. He wears all the socks I've ever knit him, so I know he will, but anyway. And these, I think that I said everything I needed to say about that. And then I finished for Christmas these socks for my daughter. Wow, I really hold things awkwardly. I don't know why I do that. These are self-striping vanilla socks. Vanilla just means I didn't follow a pattern. It's just ribbing, and then I just did plain stockinette stitch. I added in a fish lips kiss heel because I know how to do that from memory, and it's easy for me. And then I did a contrasting heel with some extra yarn laying around. But the main color is Coral Reef by Owl Fibers, and it is in her Barn Owl base. and it's really pretty yarn, and I'm really happy with it. When I was first knitting with it, I felt like it was kind of tight, but after I blocked it, and I did put these on sock blockers because her feet are growing all the time, so just trying to get them to fit for a while. They seem to stretch out really great, and I think they're gonna fit her wonderfully. Again, she hasn't worn them yet, but I kind of keep pulling them back so that I can record this episode. So now I will let her wear them. And then a few days after Christmas, I did finish my daughter's slipped rib hat by Jodi Brown, and it turned out really nice. But this was not a Christmas gift. This was just after Christmas. It has a twisted ribbing on the bottom. It's mohair and DK, and the yarn I used is from Aves Fiberworks, and it is African gray is the main DK, and then pink cockatoo is the mohair, and you can see how pink it is on the inside. I like how subtle it is. You know, it stretches out a little bit more, but it's very subtle. I made a slipped rib hat for myself, and it's very similar, so I'll just try not to wear my hat at the same time that she wears hers, so she doesn't feel like I'm trying to twin with her or anything, because she's almost 13, so that kind of thing is going to bother her soon. But yeah, it's a great pattern. I obviously made it twice by Jodi Brown. I'm really happy with it. So another great hat for this winter. And then I made, after Christmas, when I finished everybody else's gifts, I've been waiting to cast on this hat for such a long time, and I really, really like it. So I knit this in, I think, 3 days. This is the Flock Together hat by Akers. It's beautiful cables, which I don't do a lot of cables, and it didn't bother me. And in fact, I kind of enjoyed it because it was a little different. And this is the pom-pom is Yarn Bowler through the Grocery Girls line. I did get a couple of their pom-poms. I like them because it's really big and kind of fun. But anyway, this is DK and mohair held together. And this again is Aves, oh man, Aves Fiberworks. I don't know why my brain like goes to call it Aves. Like, so dumb. I know it's Aves. And the color is Tucan Olive. So it's a really pretty green. And I don't know if you can really see the texture. It's really pretty. So I love it. Makes me happy. I am on a quest this year to make the warmest hat. This one is in the running. I really like it. It's really warm, and this extra long folded brim will keep my ears warm, and I think it's great. So yay, I love it. So that is it for finished objects this week. So I know I've said this before, we're only 3 episodes in, but that is not normal for me, and there will not normally be that many finished objects, I promise. All right, so what have I started? I had a cast-on party after Christmas. When I was done knitting for other people, I just decided I'm gonna cast on all the things that I wanted to cast on. I still have a few more things I'm gonna cast on before the end of the month, because I want to get them on the needles and started, even if I'm not working on them actively all the time. I know that stresses some people out to have a lot of whips. I love it. I love having the freedom to, if something's not bringing me joy, or if I'm just tired of something, that I can just switch to something else really quickly, especially with socks. I think that's why I always have so many socks going, because sometimes it's like, okay, I'm tired of stockinette. I want something that has some patterning and texture in it. Okay, I'm tired of doing that now. I want to work up on a self-striper. I don't know. That's just how my brain works, and I love having the variety. I love doing different things. The challenge I think I'm gonna have this year with my sweater goal is not getting, not being a squirrel when it comes to like smaller, more portable, more fun projects, like casting on new socks or doing a hat really quick, or something smaller that's just gonna be less of a commitment. And I don't know if that's a real thing for me. I just know that I have 2 sweaters on the needles that have been on hold for a long time, and I haven't really wanted to go back to them, but I'm really hoping that my sweater goal is gonna help me just stay on track because I want sweaters. I don't wanna buy them, I wanna make them. So it'll get more enjoyable once I'm in the rhythm, I think. So, but anyway, let's get back to the works in project. Oh my gosh, that word just left me. Works in progress, otherwise known as whips. So I'm gonna start with, the first thing that I cast on was something I wanted to cast on for over a year. I've had this yarn for over a year, and these are the lovely, the amazing, the beautiful Tree Farm Socks by Natalie Sheldon. Oh my gosh. It's so pretty. I love everything about it. The colors, this is the called for yarn, which is Murray and Co. wool. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. Murray and Company Wool Goods. This is their classic sock base in Evergreen and Festive Frost. And this is the called for yarn for the pattern. I am following the pattern exactly. And what I think I'm gonna do with these, because I really just wanted the joy of casting them on. I know that sounds silly, but I wanna complete the first chart, which is the whole leg. And then I think I'm gonna take a break from these until next fall, and with the plan on completing them for Christmas so that I can finally have a pair of winter socks during the winter holidays. And these will be a nice little gift to myself. So, but I love these. I've loved working on them. I've never done an all over color work sock before. In fact, I've done very limited color work socks. The police box socks, I think, were the first color work socks I ever did. So I'm really excited. I'll see how they fit, but I'm just really excited to be making them. They're really pretty. And these are still, well, these are in my chestnut fibers bag. I've decided not to retire it yet for the season because it's just too cute. And it's winter themed, it's not Christmas themed, so I thought that was okay. And then my next work in progress is the scarf that I started for my sister. This is gonna be a long-term project too, because I had thought originally that maybe I would make this winter and send it out to her. But let's be honest, this is not the most exciting thing to work on. Here it is. And what it is she had gotten me a pair of gloves when they went to London that were the Hogwarts Express emblem, and then it had striping like this and like the emblem in the middle. And she wants a pair of mittens and a scarf that kind of mimic that color scheme. So I'm just making this up. It's just a garter stitch scarf, so it's knitting back and forth. I'm slipping the first stitch of each row, which maybe I shouldn't have because it kind of makes the stripes look funny, but I'm not going back. And then the yarn I'm using is Knit Picks Alpaca Cloud and DK, which this is the one thing that's making this pretty joyful, is that this is about the softest yarn I've ever felt in my life. And the colors are, I think, Elizabeth, Thomas, and Sophia. I think that's Sophia and that's Elizabeth, but they could be switched. But it's like a deep dark blue, a burgundy, and a cream. It's really nice. It's pretty simple. I just have to, I'm gonna keep this bag upstairs so when we're watching a movie or something, I can just kind of do some rows every once in a while, or we're trying to watch The Mandalorian as a family, but we can't all manage to sit together at the same time ever. So, but this will just be an easy while we're watching TV thing to work on. And I have a notification. Sorry about that. If I can edit that out, I will. And then the next thing that I started, and this is in, oh, I'm sorry. This is my Tanny Casey bag, and it's really pretty. It's really gorgeous. It's one of my favorite bags. I use this one a lot. And then this is in a bag, Mrs. Brown's bag, and this is some crochet stitches, but I just really liked it, even though I can't crochet. I really wanted this one, so that's what I got. I am doing the Choose Love shawl by, I think, Patty from the Forest City Knit Girls podcast, which is, they're really sweet, and I really like to watch them. And this is a 3-color shawl. I just started the second color. So this is the top. I'll try to hold it. And if you're kind of thinking these don't look like my colors, you're completely right. I did buy this kit from Vivid Yarn Studios with the intention of making this shawl for myself, and I'm not sure if I love the colors for me. I'm gonna have to see when the whole thing is done. This might go into a gift knit pile because I actually think it's really pretty. It's this light purple with all these different specks in it. It's just light purple is not really my color, and that's okay. So like I said, it's Vivid Yarn Studios, and this is Mystic, and then the two other colors are Crystal Ball, this is the one I'm working with right now, which I really love. It's like this white with all the cream with all these different speckles. It's super pretty. And then this gray that's really coming apart here. Oh my, I'll have to work on that. Called Storm. And I love the second two colors. So I'm gonna kind of see what the end product is, and then after that I'll decide if it's gonna go to the gifting pile, or if it's gonna be a spring shawl, or what, or if it goes to my daughter for her birthday. I'm just gonna see when it's all done, because I'm enjoying working on it a lot. Very rhythmic, very good pattern, written great, really well written. Instructions are perfect. I'm loving the process. I'm just not sure how I'm gonna feel about the colors at the end. But everything about it is making me happy, and even though it's not my color, I still like the color. So that's the thing about knitting, is it's so fun to work with all the different colors and try new things, and sometimes it doesn't always work, but I think this is gonna work. I'm just not sure if it's gonna work for me. And then, so these are, I mentioned at the beginning about my no-buy year and my paper bags full of sock yarn. And this month, this was the yarn that I pulled out. It was a sock set by Northbound Knitting. And this is Avernia and Moss. And I'm sure you can't see, my Swift also broke, which is why I had to wind this by hand. But this is a gray, and it's got like really subtle hints of like yellow and green and dark gray. And it's really cool. So then this kind of mossy olive green together pulls those colors out, which is neat. So once I pulled that out of my bag for the month, I realized I'm gonna be making my husband socks with these, because I wore a pair of shorty socks recently, and he's like, oh, that's an option? I would love shorty socks. So his birthday is at the end of the month, and I decided to make him a pair of short socks. So I cast these on yesterday, I think. And these are the Sail Away socks by Felicity Ward. And it's just a short cuff. I did a heel flap and gusset. I do actually do them. And so that's how it's knitting up. And I don't know if the camera's gonna pick up any of the colors any better, but it's really cool. I'm almost done with the gusset decreases. So after that, I'll just be knitting down a foot, and then I'll have one half of his pair of socks. And then I think what I'll do with the rest of this, because I'm gonna have a lot left over, so I think I'm gonna hold it double with a different yarn that I have, and I know exactly what yarn I'm thinking of, and I think I'm gonna make a pair of DK, either slipper socks or just socks with the leftovers. So that'll be a great use of that yarn too. But I'm enjoying these. Heel flap and gusset is fine. It's not my go-to, and every time it feels so funky, but then once you finish it, you're like, oh, that wasn't that bad. So I'm enjoying making those. It'll go super fast. And if I don't finish these by his birthday, I mean, he doesn't even know I'm making them for him, so I don't think he's gonna mind. But I'm gonna try to, because I think it would be a nice surprise. He's been so busy with work that he doesn't even know what I'm working on right now. If it's not little Christmas ornaments that he has to make a pom-pom for, he's not interested. So, and then my last work in project, oh my gosh, why do I keep saying that? My last work in progress for this week is a pair of socks that I cast on for my son, whose birthday is also at the end of the month. So he is turning 10. I can't believe it. I don't have any little kids anymore. I don't even remember what it's like to have little kids, really. It's sad. But he's still my little guy, and he, like I said before, if I make him socks, he will wear them until they don't fit anymore. So I don't mind making him socks. And he spotted this awesome yarn in my stash. This is the West Yorkshire Spinners Christmas color for this year called Silent Night. And I really love that it's not super Christmassy at all. It's more winter, and it's so sparkly. And he's got small feet, so I'm thinking I'll be able to make him 2 socks and still have enough left over to make socks for myself. I know, I'm so selfish. What is wrong with me? But I'm not far. I just cast it on. For his, I'm doing 56 stitches on a 2.25 needle. It should be big enough. I think the last socks I made him, I had to go up to 60 stitches, but I don't know. I want him to be small a little bit longer, so I'll have him try it on in a couple weeks or a week once I have a little bit more and make sure he can get it up past his ankle. And if he can't, then I'll go up. But it's so pretty and sparkly, and I think this is a great gender neutral color, and I'm really happy with it. So that is everything that I'm working on. For the next week, I do have plans to cast on 2 new things, which I know you're probably like, why would you cast on more stuff? You have so much going on, and 2 of them are gifts for the end of the month, but that's how I am. So I'm going to be casting on a colorwork hat because I want to try, I haven't made a colorwork hat before, so I want to see if like having the double layer with floats adds warmth or not. So that is on my agenda to cast on this week, and hats go pretty fast. I don't know if a colorwork hat will go fast, but I mean, I made this cable knit hat in 3 days, so I also was off work, so it may not be as fast as I think it's gonna be. And then I'm also going to cast on, I haven't totally decided if I'm gonna cast on the Wave of Change pullover or the cardigan. I was all set to do the cardigan, and it's a pattern by Denise Byron, and then she released the pullover, and I think I would wear the cardigan more, but I think, I don't know, the pullover really appeals to me because it's going around and around and around, no purling or minimal purling. So I'm still deciding. I think I'm gonna go, I was really set on doing the pullover, but I think I'm going back to maybe doing the cardigan because I just think I'd get more wear out of the cardigan, and that's part of my resolution, right? I wanna make things that I'm gonna love to wear. So I think I would love to wear the cardigan more. So, and then I mentioned before, I have 2 sweaters cast on. I think I just want to pull those out in the next couple weeks and see where I'm at, see if I can maybe get to the point where I split for the sleeves on each of them. I know one of them is the No Frills pullover by Petite Knit, and I know I'm like 1 or 2 rows from splitting for the sleeves, but I know I haven't been really good about watching my counts, so I'm just there's gonna have to be some math involved to make sure that I have the correct amount of stitches everywhere. So that one's gonna take a little brain power. And then the other one is the Felix pullover, and I don't know the designer right now, but it's got a little interest on the raglan increases, or yeah. So, and that one, I'm not very far on. I just started it on a whim one day, and then I put it in a bag. So I would like to pull that one out and see if I can figure out where I'm at least, and maybe get to the split for the sleeves. So those are kind of my upcoming plans. So let's really quickly breeze through the book club part of this episode, because I feel like it's not going well. So we'll see after today if I continue to do book club or not. I did finish The Last of the Moon Girls by Barbara Davis. I already gave that book to my mother, so I don't have it to show. I liked it. I gave it a 3 stars on Goodreads. It had an average of about 4.5 stars, so I'm not sure why I didn't love it. I thought it was good. It was very even keel, you know, there was a murder mystery, but it wasn't like, maybe that was it. I really like a good mystery, and this was like, there was a lot going on, and I felt sometimes like the pacing was off, but that could be me. But if you're looking for something kind of light, and that you can pick up and put down, it's a good book for that. There's some really good relationships in there. There's kind of a romance. There's reconnection with family. So it has a lot of good things going on. I liked it. Yes, I would read it. I would recommend it. I wouldn't read it again. So maybe that's why I gave it a 3. 4s and above are like, I would totally read that again. I loved it. On Audible, I finally gotten in to The Searcher by Tana French. And I think the problem I'm having is I don't love the narrator. It's fine. We're going to get through it. It's good. But I'm finally into the story and it's starting to keep my interest. So I feel like her last few books have just been a little slow to get moving. And then once they get moving, you know, I love it. So that's where we're at with that. I also started for my new real life book. I don't know. The one that I'm holding when I read is The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. And everybody that I know who's read this book absolutely loves it. So I'm really excited for it. I think I'm on like chapter 4 or 5. And oh, I should show you. My wonderful friend Julie gave me this for Christmas. And that's how you spell my name if you have any questions on how to spell Danelle. But I'm liking this a lot. It takes place in Alaska. At least that's what I think. That's where they are now. This family of 3 just moved to Alaska in the 1970s, I think. And I think they're preparing for learning how to live off the land. So I'm really enjoying it. I read another book by her, and I think she's really a good writer. I like her writing style. So I'm really excited for this. And I'll try to read this one faster than I read The Last of the Moon Girls, which shouldn't be hard. I think I'm just more in the reading mode right now. And then I just thought really quickly I'd show you some of the books that I'm planning to read this year in case you're in a rut and looking for some recommendations. These are, I think I've mentioned, my mother-in-law, my mom, and my sister-in-law, and my sister in Seattle. We all kind of send books back and forth to each other and recommend to each other. So these are a few that have come my way that I'm going to be reading in the next few months. So this is called The Snow Child, and I think this one also takes place in Alaska. This is by Eowyn Ivey. I don't know if I said that right. You'd think with a name like Danelle, I would be really good at making sure I'm right with names, and I'm not very good at it. And then Jojo Moyes, The Giver of Stars. My mother-in-law really liked this. I've heard some controversy about this, like plagiarism, but I'm still going to read it. But I'm going to look into that a little bit more. Then another Kristen Hanna book called The Magic Hour. I think my mom just had this on her shelf, and I was like, I'll take that. I'll read it. Looks good. The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell. I'm really interested in this one. I think my sister sent this to me. And then I'm going to pronounce this Cersei because of Game of Thrones, but I'm not sure. This one also came from my sister, and my sister loved this, so this will probably be coming up sooner rather than later because I know she's really interested to see what I think about it. So those are my plans. I know I'll be getting some more books in and out that may come into play before some of these other ones, but that's my tentative plan for the next, we'll say 6 months of hardcover or softcover reading. So thank you so very much for joining me today. It's so much fun to get to sit here and share my knitting with you. I haven't really promoted this channel yet. I'm thinking about starting to tell people about it. I kind of wanted to see if I stuck with it and how I felt about it. And I think I'm going to keep doing this. It's nice. It gives me something to focus on. I think it helps me kind of focus my knitting a little bit more and keep me on track because I think, well, if I finish that, then I can show it on the YouTube channel episode. So I think I'm going to stick with it. I've really been enjoying it. Please feel free to like and subscribe if you've enjoyed coming here. If you don't, I totally get it. There's a lot of different podcasts and channels out there, and I know there's a lot of different styles. So just find what you like and support whoever that is. But I plan to come back in 2 to 3 weeks, and thank you again so much, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye!